Hey, what's up? So something I get asked about a lot in my life is about cosmetology school. I do work as a makeup artist, so something that I get asked about is if I've been to cosmetology school or not, and a lot of times people want to know like the pros and cons and what the experience is like and if it's worth it for them to go. And when I was trying to figure out if I wanted to go to school or not, I didn't have these kinds of videos to look at. I just wasn't able to really get other people's experiences to figure out if I wanted to go or not. And I think it would have helped me make a better decision. So I'm just gonna make a video about it, and hopefully this answers some questions, and hopefully this helps some of you decide if it's something you want to do. I went to the Aveda Institute in Minneapolis, so I know other schools are going to operate differently, but generally it's going to be about the same thing. I chose to go to cosmetology school because I wanted to be a makeup artist. I didn't really have any interest in doing hair or nails or facials or anything like that. I wanted to just do makeup. I just had no idea how to get into that. I had no idea how to become a makeup artist or what to do. So when I went on my tour before I enrolled in school, I was told, oh yeah, you'll learn so much about makeup and you'll have so many opportunities. And let's just say that didn't really happen, and I'll get more into that later, but that's why I chose to go to school. When you go, at least at Aveda, you could choose from 3 different things. It was Esteology, which is like mostly about the skin. So that's when you're gonna do facials and waxing, body waxing, and things of that nature. There's Cosmetology, which is about hair and nails and just the face. Not so much skin, but you do facial waxing and makeup and hair and nails and toenails. And then there's Massage Therapy, which I don't know a whole lot about, but I'm assuming it's just, you know, massages around the body. I don't know. I did cosmetology. It was a 10-month program divided into 5 sections, I guess. So it was Intro 1, Intro 2, and then Alpha, Beta, Gamma. So there's 5 different levels of schooling, I don't know. Intro 1 and Intro 2 are where you're just in the classroom, where you're working on mannequin heads and you're not really like working on people aside from each other. And then Alpha and Beta and Gamma are when you're working on the floor and you're helping like clients. And then as you go up, the classroom days get shorter and less frequent. So by the time you graduate, you're just on the floor all the time. Alright, so let's do the pros first. It helped me get more comfortable with like touching people. And as a makeup artist, which was what I ultimately wanted to be, I mean, you need to be able to touch people and be close physically to people, and I was so uncomfortable with that idea. But, you know, going to school and doing people's hair, it helped me to get more comfortable with that, and so that's a good thing. It's also a really nice thing to add on a job resume, especially going into the field that I ended up going into, which was makeup. It's just nice to have that there, just to say like, yeah, I paid a lot of money to learn how to do this, so you can trust me. So if you do want to end up going into the beauty industry, it can be nice to have cosmetology school on a resume. And lastly, it was a really good way to get some life experience, and I did end up learning some pretty useful skills. I've been able to give advice to people about hair and skin and makeup and all that by using the information that I learned at Aveda, and so that's a pretty good thing. I mean, it has helped me a little bit in life. With that being said, let's move into the cons. First and foremost, at least at the school that I went to, me and a lot of people that I was at school with felt like they were more interested in making money from us. So not only our tuition, which was extremely high, but they pretty much put us to work right away doing people's hair and making more money for them. There were a lot of people in my class, and so having those learning opportunities were sometimes missed. So if you felt like you were falling behind on something, it was a lot harder to get help and to end up actually learning that thing. So for me, I fell behind on men's haircuts. It was just something I didn't completely understand, and I wasn't able to get the one-on-one help with the instructors that I should have gotten. And a lot of people felt that way about different things, not just men's cuts, but haircuts or color, foils or perms or whatever. If it was something you didn't initially understand, you were pretty much not gonna ever really learn it. If the classes were a little bit smaller and if they allowed more classroom time rather than just putting us to work immediately, I think a lot of people would have been a lot more successful. The people that I went to school with, just the people in my class, only a small handful of them are actually successful and doing hair. Most of us are doing something totally different, and that's just kind of sad to me. Another really big con about where I went, and this is going to be different from person to person, but there were a lot of really mean girls in the class that I was in. I was very heavily bullied, especially towards the end, well, the middle to the end. So about 5 months of like dreading going in, because there were some really awful people. One girl got my phone number from my friend and then gave it to another girl, and then that girl kept calling me in the middle of the night and telling me to kill myself and telling me everyone hates me and nobody wants me there. And I would go into school and people would just be like, obviously like gossiping about me, like whispering, and it was not a fun time. Well, obviously that's just a situational thing. You're not always gonna run into that at cosmetology school. That's just something to consider, that it might happen. Another huge con is how expensive it is. Mine was about $20,000 for 10 months of school, and I'm still paying that off. Keep that in mind. It is something that you're going to be paying for a lot. I mean, we all know about student loans and how bad they are, and this is no different. And then the fact that I ultimately ended up not doing hair makes it seem kind of like it wasn't worth it as a whole. Even though it gave me some pretty useful skills, and even though it's really good on my resume, I've ended up having to pay about $200 a month to have went to school, to be bullied, and to be put to work, and to end up not even going into that field. So, for me, if I could go back in time, I'd probably try to go on the path that I ended up going on, which was starting to work at makeup counters, and just seeing if that ended up working out. If not, then I might say that going to Aveda ended up being worth it, and I'd probably go along that path again. But if I'm being honest, I think I could have been where I'm at now without it. If doing hair is something that you know you want to do, then go to school for it. I do know of people that went to smaller schools that ended up still being pretty successful, so don't feel like you have to spend a whole ton of money, because you're learning the same thing, and at the end of school you still get your license and you can still go do hair. Unless it's something that you 100% know you want to do, I would not recommend it. I would recommend trying to go on more the specific path that you're wanting to go on. So if you want to do makeup, try that instead. Go apply at Macy's and just try to work at a counter and work your way up from there. And there's a lot more resources that I've come across working at makeup counters than I ever came across at school. Alright, so that was my cosmetology school experience. I don't think I missed anything, but maybe I did. I don't know. I didn't really prepare for this. If you have any more specific questions, definitely let me know and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!